What is up, everybody? This is day 2 recap in the hotel room where the magic happens. And when I talk about magic, I'm talking about these videos. Obviously, get your mind out of the gutter. We are back. I'm slowly getting the Wikipedia bracket up for Season 7 World Championship. Let's go into what happened today. We talked a little bit about like media day and all that stuff the previous day. So we're just going to go, focus on day 2. First off, got some pretty good sleep, so that's a good sign. Very good sign for me. Normally don't sleep that well, but right now we're still in the same time zone, so hey, we're good to go. We're golden, baby. Anyway, head over to the World Championship, and we had another cold open. And guys, I'm telling you, this is not me. This is production. They want to plan these, and they made me be the spotlight once again. I'm like, can someone else be the spotlight of one of these, please? But we did another cold open. I thought it was a pretty funny one. We wanted a couple more takes to figure out the better, like, all right, guys, South America or something like that. But we had a good time. If you missed the cold open, it's right at the start of the show. So go back to the Twitch bot or whatever and check it out. It was a good time. I hope you guys got a good laugh out of that. And then it was great. Like, after we did that, we recorded that. I had about, I don't know, an hour to kill, maybe. And I was like, screw it. I'm just going to walk out from where the desk is. And this is exactly what I'm going to do tomorrow. So if you are here in New Jersey at the LAN, if you do want to see me, I'm probably going to walk out from my desk area once we're done with rehearsals, once I'm done with makeup and all of that, and just chill there and get as many photos, as many signatures as I could possibly do. We did it for an hour straight this morning. I couldn't do it after the show because I think I mentioned this a little bit in my previous recap where I kind of get not yelled at, but it's like, oh, we do a postmark. We go over what if there's any issues with cashers, with production, and all that. So I need to be there for that. So I couldn't really hang afterwards. So I apologize to anyone that wanted to see me then. But from 11 to or like 10:45 to 11:45 is when I'm going to try and be out there. It was like I was blown away by the support though. I just randomly walked out there, and within a few minutes we had a super long line, and people were being very courteous, waiting their turn, helping others with signatures if they didn't have markers, helping each other with photos. It was awesome to see. I just love seeing this rock community, and everyone's just having a great time. Seeing all the signatures on everyone else's boards where they're getting everyone else. I see Phantom Ace and all that. I see the signs for John Sandman, even though he's not here and all that stuff. Great to see, and obviously all the pros and all that too. So. Kudos to you guys for coming out, for being awesome. And let's get into day 2. I got to figure out where the game started. Here we go. We got Energy PSG to start the day. So Energy finishing off their groups. Pretty nice schedule for them. And I think that's more of like the benefit of being the number 1 overall seed in this tournament, because the way we did it for the seeds was we based it on Season 6 World Championship as best we could. And then we gave the Sam number 1 and OC number 1 the 3 and 4 seeds. So OC got 3, Sam got 4 to give them some bonuses. Obviously didn't work out, but it was, to celebrate the number 1 seeds from their regions. So Energy, they got the benefit of a relatively nice schedule for themselves. They got to play PSG early. That was some good Rocket League. PSG was playing really well. Energy fixed a lot of the issues that they had from the previous day. I feel like Fireburner was reacting to plays, making good pass plays. Justin using his mechanics to not only try for a goal every single time, but go for those passing plays. So that was good to see. I think Energy played really well going into day 3. If they continue that, they should be a force on, which honestly might be the easier side of the bracket, which is funny to say, which we'll get into in a little bit. We'll talk about the bracket slightly in a bit here. But, so Energy played really well. PSG bounced back later versus INTZ. We'll just go over the group. INTZ, they couldn't put up that magic that they had in the first day. And I think this is probably for both them and low-key, that this is more what we expected, where they'll have a couple close games, but they're ultimately going to lose these series pretty convincingly. And I felt like the first day with INTZ, not saying it was a fluke, but it was more of that INTZ playing some of the best they've played, and Energy probably playing down a little bit to what we're normally seeing. But to be fair, don't take anything away from South America. South America is coming in to an esport where they didn't know that they could have a professional career or even try for this big money until 7 months ago, something like that. Probably a little longer, like 10 months ago. But still, it's very hard to build up that scene. It's going to take some time. It was great to see them. Chamako, he's been great on the desk. We'll see him again on day number 3. He's been awesome to hang out with, and I just love seeing a brand new region coming to the World Championship, guys. It's the World Championship. We want as many regions as possible, so we're always really excited to see them, but they couldn't pull it out. PSG gets the win, and they move on. But Energy wins the group. North America wins the group, and we'll be saying that a lot throughout today. So moving on, we have G2 versus Vitality. We'll just go group to group order, and I think that's basically what the match order was anyway. G2 versus Vitality. One of the maybe surprises. Like I think a lot of people were picking G2 over Vitality in their predictions based on DreamHack Dallas. A lot of people saying here, a lot of the pros saying here that in scrims right now, G2 might be the best team here. G2 and PSG both are getting a lot of credit from their scrims. So both teams looking really good, but G2 both to win. Vitality is kind of getting back to that old double commit game a little bit. Like I felt like Scrub had a really good series where he was trying to control the ball, trying to make plays. G2 made a lot of great 1v1 defensive plays, which is something that you don't expect when you're going up against a team like Vitality who have that 1v1 game in their back pocket. But G2, excellent defense throughout the series. But I did feel like Scrub had a pretty good series. K-Dop had some crucial moments. Felt like he kind of struggled, though. I felt like Fairy Peak was involved in a lot of those double commits as well. They couldn't really figure out where they wanted to go. So Vitality, sure, they didn't win their group, but they're still a force to be reckoned with going into the bracket. And who knows? Anything can happen at that point. But they will be going on to play NRG tomorrow in the quarterfinals. So we will get the two number one seeds battling out in the quarters. G2, rightfully so, gets the Group B win, and they will be playing PSG, who got second in Group A. So we have the 2-1 seeds from North America and Europe and the 2-3 seeds from North America and Europe battling it out, and that'll be the same from Group C and D, the 2-4 seeds and the 2-2 seeds. So it's going to be really cool because I've always wanted to have a tournament where you take like top 12 from a region, which you really can't do because obviously like pain issues and all that, but just have 12 versus 12, 11 versus 11, 10 versus 10, 9, based on power rankings or whatever. And just to see like, all right, who's the best region and something like that would be just a fun tournament to do. But obviously pain issues and trying to get 24 teams together or even 16 teams together, very difficult. But we basically get that tomorrow in a pseudo, all right, who's got the deeper region? We got all the 1 seeds battle, the 2 seeds, 3s, and 4s. It should be a lot of fun. But NA's been dominating today. Group B, G2 also takes it. They also took down Ground Zero Gaming. Later on in the day, Ground Zero put up a little bit of a fight. But at the end of the day, I felt like just the mistakes, like a lot of costing mistakes from Ground Zero. And again, a very poor tournament for OCE. Like OCE, at least if you're not the Chiefs or Renegades, they are now 0-10 at the World Championships. And Renegades, for the first time ever at the World Championship, do not get a win as well. So OCE going to have to figure something out without Drip A, it seems like. It seems like these teams might be a little bit weaker. It could also have just been on that given day, right? It's not necessarily that this would happen every single time. So we'll see how they bounce back in Season 8. I'm excited to see OCE just continue to develop, and it's great that they got a brand new team, basically, to the World Championship. Obviously, Jules has been here before, but just all that experience, you bring it back to the scene, you get better matches, better scrims, and we'll see how that goes. We'll see them in DreamHack Valencia, which should be a lot of fun. Both them and Renegades are going. I don't know about Icon. I can't remember. I think Icon might be. So we might have 3 OC teams there, which would be a lot of fun. And Valencia, obviously, with all the roster moves already going on, it's going to be really exciting. So make sure you check that out. That's in 2 weeks. That's crazy. 2 weeks. So, yeah, there's that. Moving on. Group C, we have Rogue coming out on top. Pretty expected after yesterday, obviously, where they beat Barcelona. But today they played the Renegades. And unfortunately for Renegades, they lose the very first game. But shout out to the Renegades for coming back in game number 2 in the last few seconds. I believe Cammy scored the goal, and then they won in overtime as well. Shout out to them for playing out the series, right? For trying their hardest to still get that win that they so desperately want, just for that momentum going into Valencia. Like I've said it a lot this year, 2019 has not been the Renegades' year. They're now 0-9 in quality matches and in quality attempts at international play. And again, with Drip A, they always at least got 1 win at every single tournament. That was 6 events. There's been 3 now without him, all 3 winless. So they're going to have to figure something out. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. Like a lot of these guys, like Zen, he dropped out of school. Torsas, he stopped college as well just to have a career in Rocket League. So we'll see how they bounce back at Valencia and then going forward into Season 8 because obviously they're still the heavy favorites to win it all. in Season 8 for OCE and come back here and try and prove their worth once again. But moving on, we got Group D. And this all came down to Triple Trouble versus Low Key. And we talked about Sam a little bit earlier. It just felt like the skill maybe caught up to Sam a little bit. But again, Low Key kept it close, right? The first game, though, you're up 3-0. You got to close those out on a World Championship stage. As soon as they lost that game, it felt like it was over. Triple Trouble just began playing better and better. But again, I believe the shots were actually in Low Key's favor. So Triple Trouble playing a little bit of a different style, not just purposely shooting every single thing, but just seemed like some defensive mistakes here or there, leaving a little bit too much of an open net. And Triple Trouble were able to capitalize. I do feel like, so I talked to Wesker a bit. He's a little worried about Rogue because worried about Triple Trouble because they'll be playing each other. I feel like Triple Trouble, though, hasn't played their best yet, which I'm not sure if we'll see it. I feel like maybe going into this bracket, they might be the weakest team I've seen so far through the group stage. I'm not incredibly impressed, but one thing I loved was seeing Tadpole's family there, seeing that interview. It's just awesome to see when Rocket League, when the community comes together, when these families come out and all support their family that are in the tournament, or if just friends coming out. And we see with Triple Trouble, they're all from Europe, making the long, long trip out here to support Tadpole, to support the other guys on Triple Trouble. It's awesome to see. And, it's been great. That was, that interview definitely brought a tear to my eye. It's just really, really cool to see that Rocket League families just coming together and supporting it. It's like when I grew up, no one knew about video games in my family. No one cared or whatever. And obviously, I didn't really play in anything, so it didn't matter. But it's just cool to see all these families like, hey, man, we didn't think this was a thing. And then it became a thing. And then you see families come out. I saw Garrett G's family, Mama and Papa Garrett G, and Baby G as well. It was awesome to see them. Got a high five from Baby G, so that was really cool. And stuff like that coming out to almost every single event. It's just insane that these families do this every single time. And then, of course, I just want to go back to the fans, too. I got to see a lot of kids. We saw Paul. He was one I saw, I believe, in Vegas as well. I believe, maybe 10 years old, something like that. And, he was showing me his bracket predictions, his group predictions. He said on the first day he got everyone right except for one game for his group predictions. And he even had, a date on it from when the photo was taken. It was awesome to see. Just people get so excited. And then I met, I can't remember his name, but it was people I met at Gnarly. They drove all the way down. They were more local for that tournament. I think it was a 6-hour drive or something like that to come here to New Jersey to see this event. And things like that are awesome because I remember those guys. I remember meeting them, and it was just so cool to see them again and to see all these fans so happy to be there. And it's a blast. It's a blast. Anyway, I know what you're all here for. Me sleeping. All right, here we go. All right, bracket predictions. Here we go. Let's talk about the bracket first. We have a very interesting bracket. So let's talk about the top side of the bracket, which has every single 1 and 2 seed from North America and Europe. Very first game of the day, probably. I'm not sure if we're going to reorder these or not. Is Energy versus Vitality, the 2 number 1 seeds from their regions, battling it out in the quarterfinals to see who goes to the semis. Then you got Cloud9, the number 2 seed, the reigning world champs, versus Barcelona. So that's the 2 seed from Europe as well. So much depth there again in online play. Here at LAN, though, maybe the bottom side of the bracket might be a little bit more scary. We got G2 Esports versus PSG. A lot of people saying these two could be the favorites to win it all through scrims and all of that. So we'll see how that goes. Both teams, the 3 seed coming out from their region. And finally, with this all NA and Europe bracket, we have Rogue versus Triple Trouble. And if there's a team that's impressed maybe the most, it might be Rogue at this point. So we'll see how that goes. Rogue versus Triple Trouble should be a doozy. But let's get into it. Let's get into these predictions. Man, it's going to be hard. Oh, it's so difficult to pick. Obviously, NA won every single group. They went 8-0. And if this was a double-in format or whatever, man, one, they would have played each other, obviously. But 8-0, guys. They were 8-0. And I should stand up more or sit up more. Let's get an inner monologue in my head so I can find the script. I can't do it because I don't have production here. But Energy Vitality. Energy beat them last time pretty convincingly. Only one goal scored by Vitality at DreamHack Dallas. And it seems like some of the same issues are happening for Vitality. I do feel like we have Scrub playing much better than he was at Dallas. I feel like he's really trying to carry this team. I feel like K-Dop and Fairy Peak haven't found their form yet, which is scary because I feel like K-Dop has done this before, right? Where he doesn't show up on day 1 or day 2. He shows up on day 3. He shows up on Championship Sunday, and that's why he has all these accolades, has all these titles. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I got to give it to Energy here, though, just because they look good. They look good on day 2. Vitality, I feel like, hasn't found their form just yet, and time's running out, right? And Energy seems like they found their form. They adjusted from day 1 to day 2 while Vitality didn't, and at that point, you got to give it to Energy. Hopefully, Vitality, well hydrated for their match, but early in the morning, so who knows? Maybe not enough water, but I'm going to go NRG. We'll see how that pans out for them. I love that Justin and Scrub interview today, too. Hats off to the Cyanics team for putting all those together. The Crow and Pharaoh one was golden as well. So this is going to be a doozy. And moving on, we have Cloud9 FC Barcelona. Man, if there's one team I always pick on LAN, it's Cloud9, but back, what was it, DreamHack Leipzig, when it was Savage, and Savage destroyed Cloud9. But this is a different Cloud9. This is a different Barcelona. I feel like that was, honeymoon phase. They surprised people. I think it's gonna be weird because I might have a lot of NA here. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go Barcelona here. I'm sorry, Cloud9 here. I think Cloud9 does get that revenge where they got perfectly swept by Barcelona. I believe it's. Oh no, I'm sorry. There's one goal by Cloud9 in that series as well. I believe it was like a weird Torment wide open goal. I believe. But Cloud9. I'm gonna go Cloud9 here. I think they've been playing pretty well. We didn't see them on day 2, which is funny because we also didn't see Barcelona on day 2. So that's kind of neat that the two teams that didn't play on day 2 battle it out as well. So I'm gonna go Cloud9. I think Cloud9 will make it. So that would mean Energy versus Cloud9. Sorry, we don't have brackets here. We're just gonna do it. It doesn't really matter. I guess we can turn this down a little bit. Oh yes, see some of that V-neck. It's not even a V-neck, which is sad. Whatever. Anyway, I have to shower. Moving on. G2 versus PSG. PSG played really well when they played Energy. I just felt like both teams were playing extremely good Rocket League. I'm going to give this to PSG. I know, G2. I know. Those G2 fans, that's probably what you want. You don't want me picking G2. I think PSG can do this. I feel like G2 is also playing extremely well. All 3 players playing really good Rocket League. This could be one of those matches where, maybe the 3 best-looking teams, Rogue, G2, PSG, Energy, a lot of those on the lower side of the bracket. Cloud9 looked good, but I feel like they had a relatively easy group, so I don't know. I'm gonna go PSG. You guys, I need a European team here, so I'm gonna give this one to PSG. I think it'll be a close series, but I think PSG finally right some of those wrongs, which is weird because I feel like both them and G2 they need to like these are redemption world championships for them. PSG, it's different where they kept the same roster, seeing if it works out. G2, obviously, the new roster move, right? They want to finish better than Kronovi, right? They want to say this was the right call. And we still don't know that answer, right? It's been all season long we've been asking this question. Sure, each time they've played 2 extremely close series that went to 5. But at the end of the day, the one tournament that matters is the World Championship. And if at the World Championship, Rogue finishes higher than G2, was it the right call? Who knows? I don't know. Maybe it's the right call for both, right? You could always have that. But I'm going to go PSG here. Then Rogue, Triple Trouble. I feel like Rogue is playing extremely well. And again, I think Triple Trouble, relatively weak showing so far from all these teams. Probably the least likely, I feel like, to move on, which means they'll probably win the entire thing because that's how Rocket League goes. But I'm going to go Rogue here. I think pretty convincingly. I think Rogue continues that streak, and Kronovi continues this magical run back to a possible another World Championship. That would be nuts. That would be absolutely nuts. Anyway, moving on. So we got semifinals. It'll be the first time ever that we have 3 North America teams in the top 4. We have never had that before at a World Championship. We've only had it at one event that is in international land, and that was WSOE, was it? Yeah, it was WSOE, where Flipside won that all. So we'll see if it pays off for them or not. But Energy versus Cloud9. Do you pick the online team? Do you pick the LAN team? I'm going to pick Energy here. I think Energy do advance to the finals. I think they've looked better on their day 2 than Cloud9 day 2, obviously. Cloud9 didn't play on day 2. But Cloud9, again, they can easily win this. I think it could go either way. I feel like Energy has dominated the online portion of this season, and they also beat them at E-League. So they have some LAN wins versus them during this really crazy streak where Energy has been so NA dominant. It's just Energy usually falters to the European side. So I think if Energy gets to play Cloud9, I think it's likely that Cloud9, that Energy could take it to Cloud9 once again. So I'm going to go Energy making it to the grand finals. Then Rogue versus PSG. I know, I'm sorry I didn't give you guys the Rogue versus G2 match. That would have been amazing for a semifinals. All 4 NA teams would be crazy. But we get Rogue PSG. And, I think that magic continues. I do. I really want to see an NA EU final, but I'm going Rogue here. I think Kronovi makes it back to a grand final in the most improbable season we have ever seen. Like, I guess Northern Gaming probably more improbable just because they had to bring in a sub, last minute. Like Cosmic, Cosmic was pretty improbable too back in season 1. Those two, it's close. Rogue is pretty close to that because if you talked about since week 4 of league play to the start of 2019, right? No one had Rogue doing it. Rogue really wasn't showing anything. They started to show some stuff in league play, just weren't getting the wins. But man, have they turned it on. They've looked really good. It was great to see the Kronovi carry a little bit on day 2. It was a little bit of an easier matchup versus the Renegades, but AJ and Wonder really stepped up versus Barca. So if Rogue just gets 2 of those guys going, versus PSG, it's possible. PSG might make this final. They might. I'm going to go Rogue here, though. I'll go Rogue so we get an Energy Rogue final. It goes all the way back to SARP BC days where Kronovi and Fireburner used to team up all the time. Kings of Urban, that's where the name came from when they used to play in SARP BC. Fireburner kept that name for the longest time. And then back in the Cosmic Energy days, we had a lot of Crow versus Fireburner. And you can't forget that it would be AJ and Wonder making their first final and their first World Championship. It could get wild. I think that's what I'm going to go with. I know it's improbable, but from their performances this week, I think it's very, very possible. And you got to give it to Energy. I feel like if they play an NA team in the final, I just don't see Energy losing. Just because of the streak they've had versus North America, it'll be their time. It'll finally be their time in the grand finals, and I do think Energy will take it. That being said, I don't want to jinx Energy because that's how it works. So what's going to happen is it'll be Game 7, overtime. Justin is about to score a goal, and the ball does go in, but the power goes out in the entire venue right before it goes in. And literally an EMP goes off in the United States of America, and we never get power back, ever. So we'll never know. Did Justin score that goal? We'll never know. So I have Energy winning it, but then an EMP blast taking out the power of the entire world. Or the U.S. I guess the entire world. So there you go. That's how it'll happen. Energy will get the win, but no one will know. No one will know, and that's how we'll end our tournament. So that would be Energy first, Rogue second, third place and tied would be Cloud9 with another top 4 finish, and PSG tied for 5th, Vitality, Barcelona, Triple Trouble, and G2 Esports. And we'll see. We'll see if I'm right. You know what? Probably not. Wavepunk said on day 1, NA versus NA final. Amen. Looking pretty possible right now based on how they're playing. So, going to be real exciting day 3. Make sure if you're coming, be loud, be proud of Rocket League. It's been awesome having the fans here. The wave that lasted like 15 minutes was insane. today. At the end of the day, that's the energy we want to see all day tomorrow, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm glad everyone's having a really good time, and yeah, we'll see you tomorrow for Championship Sunday. 8 teams left instead of our normal 6, and anyone can take it 3 games away from taking the entire title. So until then, guys, thank you so much for watching the first recap, for making me want to do this one. And yeah, and I'm going to have to hotspot my phone to make sure I can upload it. But that'll do it for me. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.